Leo and I are just friends. Can you stop being so disgusting? How can a grown man be this petty and insecure? Do you have any idea how exhausting this is for me? Watching Chloe Davis slam the apartment door behind her, a bitter smile touched Leo Miller's lips. He lost count of how many times they'd had this exact fight over a so-called best friend. As he watched her storm away, a strange sense of calm washed over him. For 3 years, he'd been the one carefully tending to their relationship, always passive, always accommodating. And for 3 years, she had consistently chosen her best friend, Ryan, leaving him behind time and time again. I think it's time to make a choice. He got up, swept the shattered remnants of their argument into the trash, and ordered himself food on DoorDash. It was a loaded chili dog from a downtown Greasy Spoon she always complained smelled up the apartment, so he'd never eaten at home, just to keep her happy. Looking back, he couldn't believe how foolish he'd been. Why didn't he ever think to love himself more? He remembered something he'd read online once. If a relationship makes you feel like you're suffocating, it's time to leave. He ate his dinner and left for his evening shift. The fights were always about Ryan. Leo had tried, so many times, to get her to set some boundaries, to create some distance with Ryan Carter. After all, he was her boyfriend. But every single time, she'd get furious. She'd insist it was purely platonic, accuse him of being controlling and trying to ruin her social life. Then she'd give him the silent treatment for days. Thinking about it now, Leo wanted to slap himself. They were like two parallel lines, destined to run alongside each other, but never truly connect. Maybe we were never right for each other. Arriving at the office, he buried himself in his unfinished work. A little later, the general manager, Victoria Sterling, clapped her hands to get everyone's attention. Thanks to the hard work of Leo Miller, our team lead, we just landed the Henderson account. Because of this, the company has decided to promote Leo to manager of the sales center. Everyone, please congratulate our new manager. His colleagues applauded as Leo stood up, nodding his thanks to the room. Thank you, everyone. This was a team effort. And thank you, Ms. Sterling and the company for trusting me. I'll keep working hard. You're too modest, Leo. Now that you're a manager, does this mean you're buying the first round? A coworker chimed in. You know it. I'd be honored if you all would come out and celebrate with me. The company has high hopes for you, Leo. Keep it up. You have a very bright future, Victoria said, stepping closer. Thank you for the guidance, Ms. Sterling. This is the result of your own hard work and talent, she said. As for that party this afternoon, would I be honored with an invitation? Ms. Sterling, if you came, I'd be the one who's honored. It's settled then. After the party at a nearby gastropub, Victoria gave him a ride back to his place since it was on her way. Chloe wasn't home yet. In the past, this would have sent Leo into a spiral of anxiety, making him call her repeatedly. But now it didn't seem to matter. There was no anxiety, no suspicion, no gut-wrenching pain. He went to bed. When he woke up the next morning, Chloe was sitting in the living room. A single bagel sat on the coffee table. Hey, about last night. Ryan got really drunk, so I had to take care of him. Okay, Leo said flatly, pulling on his shoes. I brought you a bagel. You should eat it while it's fresh. No thanks. You have it. I'm running late. But you'll get an ulcer if you skip breakfast. You should have a little. I'll just grab a coffee on the way. He opened the door and walked out, never once looking at her. Leo, I can give you. The door clicked shut. Chloe sat on the sofa, stunned. She pulled out her phone and looked at their iMessage history. Since their fight, Leo hadn't sent her a single text. Not one call. It was never like this before, she thought. Usually when he got mad, all I had to do was say a few nice things and he'd get over it. She scrolled up through their recent chats. It was almost entirely a monologue from Leo. Her replies were short, dismissive. Okay, oh, sure, got it. It was blatantly half-hearted. Have I been? Taking him for granted. But then another thought crept in. Leo was just too controlling, too suffocating. She needed her own space. If he doesn't apologize to me this time, I'm not forgiving him. But for the next several days, Leo didn't send a single text. He didn't call. He barely even spoke to her at home. When he was there, he was glued to his laptop, and the number of words they exchanged could be counted on one hand. Why do I feel like? He's different, Chloe muttered to herself. A few nights later, she was out at a karaoke bar with some coworkers. Around midnight, people started leaving. Boyfriend showed up to pick them up or called to say goodnight. Finally, the last colleague stood up to leave. Chloe, my boyfriend's here to get me. I'm heading out. See ya. Oh, okay. Bye. After she was gone, Chloe took out her phone. The last message was from 3 days ago. She refreshed the screen several times, but nothing changed. She sighed. Maybe I should just apologize. Be the bigger person. She found Leo's contact, and her thumb hovered over the call button for a few seconds before she finally pressed it. It rang and rang. Why isn't he answering? She checked the number again. It was correct. She redialed. Still no answer. Is he asleep already? A sense of unease crept into her heart. She hailed an Uber and rushed home. Leo, I'm home, she called out as she opened the door. No one answered. He must be asleep. She walked to the bedroom and opened the door. The bed was empty. Where could he be this late? Why isn't he back yet? Her anxiety began to mount. She tried calling again, but it went straight to voicemail. She paced back and forth in the living room, her mind racing. It suddenly occurred to her that this must have been how Leo felt all those nights he waited anxiously for her. So this is what it feels like to wait, she thought, a pang of guilt striking her. On her 10th call, she heard a key in the lock. She breathed a sigh of relief. Leo stumbled into the living room. Where were you? Why didn't you answer my calls? She asked, her tone sharp with irritation. Leo looked at her, his expression momentarily blank. Oh, work thing. Had a few drinks. My phone was on silent. You never used to drink. Felt good. I am tired. Going to bed. He staggered towards the bathroom. Chloe stood frozen in place. No warmth, no concern, no questions. Not even a simple greeting. This wasn't him. Her heart twisted painfully. By the time she snapped out of it, Leo was already in bed. After she washed up and got into the room, he was fast asleep. With a sigh, she lay down and gently wrapped her arms around him from behind. In his sleep, he shifted away from her, as if instinctively creating distance. Chloe felt her heart clench, followed by a wave of sorrow. The next morning when she woke up, Leo's side of the bed was empty. Panicked, she rushed out of the bedroom just in time to see him opening the front door to leave. The door clicked shut. A desolate feeling washed over her. The kitchen counter, which always used to have a hot breakfast waiting for her, was empty. Did he forget to make me something? She walked into the kitchen. The stovetop was cold, covered in a thin layer of dust. It hadn't been used in days. Why had he stopped making her breakfast? Why did he leave without even saying a word? A strange anger began to bubble up inside her. Is he still mad about the other night? Just then, her phone rang. It was Ryan. Chloe, can you come help me? My mom's in the hospital. Okay, I'm on my way. But then she remembered Leo's strange behavior over the past few days. Worried he would get the wrong idea, she decided to text him first. She opened iMessage. Leo, Ryan's mom was just admitted to the hospital. I'm going to go help him out. A few minutes later, a reply came back. Okay. Chloe stared at the simple response. No questions, no nagging. She felt an indescribable emptiness. In the past, he would have at least complained. Why is it always Ryan? But now it was like he had changed completely. She typed another message. You didn't make breakfast this morning, and you left without saying goodbye. Are you still mad at me? Leo was in the middle of drafting a proposal when he saw her text. He frowned. She was never this talkative over text. He replied with a single word. Busy. Chloe saw the message and felt a wave of sadness and self-pity. Shaking it off, she got dressed and hurried to the hospital. Chloe, thank you so much, Ryan said, relief flooding his face. I don't know what I would have done without you. Of course. That's what friends are for. Is Leo going to be okay with this? I know he's always been weird about us hanging out. Chloe forced a smile. He won't mind. But deep down she wondered, does he really not mind? After all, every single one of their fights was because she was too close to Ryan. Ryan, honey, his mom said weakly from the bed, I watch you two grow up. Girls like Chloe are rare these days. Are you two dating? Auntie, we're not. Chloe, let's go get my mom's prescription, okay? Ryan interrupted, pulling her away. After getting the medicine, Chloe sat on a bench in the hallway, feeling agitated. She picked up her phone several times, only to put it back down. She opened iMessage, then closed it. Anxious and unsettled, she noted that Leo still hadn't sent a single text or called. That wasn't like him. He used to text her throughout the day, sharing little moments from his life. Finally, she couldn't take it anymore and sent him a message. Hey, what are you up to? Work. No extra words. Chloe pushed on. I know this really great restaurant. Want to go together after you get off work? Can't. Have a client dinner. Where at? I can pick you up. Don't worry about it. The replies were cold, dismissive. Leo, are you mad at me? He replied with a single character. Question mark. Taking a deep breath, Chloe typed out what she had been avoiding. I know I haven't been considering your feelings lately. I'm sorry. Can we please stop fighting? The reply came a minute later. Whatever makes you happy. And the conversation ended. Chloe leaned back against the chair like a deflated balloon, an empty feeling in her chest. She scrolled aimlessly through her Instagram feed and stumbled upon a story from one of Leo's colleagues. She'd added him a while back when Leo used his phone to send her a work file. The picture showed Leo sitting next to a beautiful woman. They were leaning in, talking about something, both of them smiling warmly. They looked like a couple. The caption read, "Don't they make the perfect pair?" Chloe's mind went blank. She saw the location tag for the restaurant and shot up from her seat, ready to leave. Ryan grabbed her arm. Chloe, if you leave, what am I going to do? Ryan, something important came up. I have to go. Is it Leo? Is he mad that you're here helping me again? He's just too controlling. No, it's not that. I really have to go. Ignoring Ryan's protests, she rushed out of the hospital and sped away. Behind her, Ryan clenched his fists. On the way there, Chloe's mind was in a turmoil. Who is that woman? Why is she sitting so close to Leo? What's their relationship? Panic seized her. When she arrived, she saw them through the restaurant window. Leo and a woman in a sharp business suit were presenting something to the people across the table. Oh, it's just work. Chloe let out a breath. She didn't realize she was holding the weight on her chest lifting. But as she watched them sit so closely, whispering to each other and sharing smiles, that heavy feeling returned, squeezing her heart. Eventually, the meeting concluded with handshakes. After they saw the clients off, the woman turned to Leo. Do you need a ride home? Before Leo could answer, Chloe called out, Leo. Victoria Sterling smiled, gave him a little wave, and walked away. What are you doing here? Leo asked. I was just in the area and saw you were in a meeting, so I thought I'd wait for you. Oh, are you heading back to the office? Yeah, still have some work to finish. I'll give you a ride. If it's too much trouble, I can just. It's no trouble at all. Chloe pulled open the passenger side door, but froze when she saw Leo was already getting into the back seat. Her fingers turned white as she gripped the handle. You're not going to sit up front. Let's go. I'm going to be late. She remembered the huge fight they'd had once because Ryan had ridden in the passenger seat. She had accused Leo of being childish. It's just a seat. Can you please be a little more mature? This is exhausting. Since that day, he had never willingly sat in the front seat again. Chloe shut the door and got into the driver's seat. She glanced at Leo in the rearview mirror, but he just had his eyes closed. When it got to his office building, Leo opened his door and walked straight towards the entrance. She got out and called after him, Leo. He turned around. Is there something else? I'll pick you up after work. You don't have to. I'll carpool with a coworker. No, let me get you. We can go out for dinner. I'll make a reservation. Leo nodded. After work, Leo waited, but Chloe never showed up. He went to the restaurant alone and sat there for 2 hours before his phone rang. Hello, Miss Sterling. I have something I'd like to discuss with you. Of course. Whatever you need. Great. I'm sending you my location. Come over and we'll talk. After hanging up, Leo opened iMessage and sent Chloe a text. You're not coming. He waited for a while, but there was no reply. He got up and left the restaurant. Leo, over here. Victoria waved from a table at a different bistro. What did you need to discuss, Miss Sterling? Let's eat first. Okay. The company needs me to oversee operations at the new branch office, but I don't have a reliable second in command. I was hoping you would come with me. Why me? Your talent is being wasted here. Once we're at the new office, I plan on promoting you to vice president. Vice president? What? You're not interested? I'm interested. A smile finally broke across his face. That's great, but what about your girlfriend? That's my business, not hers. Besides, I'm planning on breaking up with her anyway. Is that so? Well, it's your private life and none of my business, but I hope you handle it well. I will, Miss Sterling. When do we leave? Get your things in order. We head out on the 10th of next month. Okay, that was 25 days from now. Plenty of time. He wanted to give this relationship a clean, proper ending. On her way to pick up Leo, Chloe got a call from Ryan. He said his mother was on her deathbed, and her last wish was to see him with a loving girlfriend. He begged Chloe to pretend for her sake. After a moment of agonizing indecision, Chloe, for reasons she couldn't explain, agreed. In the hospital room, Ryan's mother took both of their hands and placed them together. Chloe's first instinct was to pull away, but Ryan held her hand tight. After his mother was stabilized and moved to a recovery room, Chloe finally remembered her date with Leo. She slapped her forehead, overcome with guilt. She immediately grabbed her phone and opened their chat. All she saw was Leo's message from 4 hours ago. "You're not coming?" Panic set in. Ignoring Ryan's protests, she sprinted out of the hospital and drove towards the restaurant as fast as she could, calling him over and over. "Come on, pick up. Let me explain." But when she got to the restaurant, Leo was gone. She felt a profound sense of loss and a growing dread. "Ma'am, are you still having the dinner you ordered?" the waiter asked. She nodded. "Can you pack it to go, please?" "Thank you." She returned to their apartment with the takeout containers and opened the door. "Leo, I'm so sorry. Something came up last minute. I brought the food back. We can eat at home." Silence. "Leo," she called out again. She put the food on the table and pulled out her phone. Leo hadn't replied to any of her frantic texts. She stared at the food on the table and sat down quietly. She thought back over the last few weeks. It's like, ever since that fight, everything has changed. Now, no matter how late she was, Leo didn't call. He didn't make her breakfast. He didn't send her texts to share little parts of his day. Their conversations had dwindled to almost nothing. She used to find it annoying, but now that it was gone, she felt like something was missing. Her heart felt hollow, as if something precious was about to slip through her fingers forever. The clock on the wall ticked away. She kept getting up to look out the window, then staring at the door, hoping he would walk in at any second. Thinking of the woman from the restaurant, she was consumed by anxiety and suspicion. A familiar, suffocating panic enveloped her. "Is this how you used to feel?" she thought. "Just like I do right now?" The clock struck midnight, and there was still no sign of Leo. She picked up the phone and dialed his number. This time he answered. "Hello." It was loud on his end. "Leo, where are you? Why aren't you home yet?" "Out with co-workers." "Don't wait up. When will you be done? I can come pick you up. I could finally meet your colleagues." "Don't worry about it. Just go to sleep." "I gotta go." Click. Chloe lowered the phone. Have we really gotten to this point? Didn't he used to be the one who was always excited to introduce her to his colleagues? And what was her attitude then? "I don't want to meet your co-workers." There's no point. At that moment, she felt a sharp, twisting pain in her chest. Have I really been that blind to his feelings? She thought about how she would drop everything and run whenever Ryan called, but would make endless excuses whenever her own boyfriend asked her to do something. The guilt was becoming unbearable. Her eyes started to sting. I guess I haven't been a very good girlfriend, have I? She opened Instagram and looked at his colleague's story again. The location was tagged at a local barbecue joint. Without a second thought, she grabbed her car keys and rushed out the door. She parked across the street. Through the window, she could see Leo raising a glass and happily toasting his coworkers. Sitting next to him was that beautiful manager of his. Every so often, the woman would look at Leo with an expression full of affection. A surge of jealousy and a sense of crisis washed over Chloe. His other colleagues were there too, sitting with their own boyfriends and girlfriends. Seeing Leo sitting there, all alone, made Chloe's heart ache. A tear rolled down her cheek. "I'm so sorry, Leo. I promise from now on, I'll always be by your side." Just then, the beautiful woman next to him stood up and took the drink out of his hand. "Leo's had a bit too much to drink. I think you guys should stop pouring him shots." "Oh, look at Ms. Sterling getting all protective," one of the colleagues teased, and the table erupted in laughter. Chloe twisted the hem of her shirt, fighting the urge to storm in there. Her intuition screamed that this woman was bad news. It was almost 2 a.m. For Chloe, every minute was torture. Watching them interact, she felt a crushing weight on her chest, making it hard to breathe. She had the sinking feeling that something was slipping out of her control. So this is what it feels like, to watch the person you love be so close to someone else. Heartbreak, Panic, jealousy, suspicion. People finally started to leave. Leo was clearly drunk, swaying on his feet as his boss and another colleague helped him out. Chloe immediately got out her car and walked over. "I've got him. I'm his girlfriend," she said, her voice firm, as if declaring her territory. "Oh, so you're the girlfriend," the coworker said. "You know, this is the first time I'm actually meeting you." The words felt like a needle, jabbing her with shame. She had been Leo's girlfriend for 3 years, and not a single one of his coworkers had ever met her. As she took Leo's arm, he lost his balance and stumbled toward Victoria. Chloe reached out, but Victoria was faster, catching Leo as he fell against her. Chloe saw a flash of tenderness in Victoria's eyes as she gently patted his back. Chloe immediately pulled Leo back toward her. "I'm so sorry, he's just drunk. Please don't take it personally, Miss Sterling." The message was clear. He's drunk, so don't get any ideas. "Ms. Davis, it's really admirable that you came out this late to pick up your boyfriend," Victoria said with a sharp smile. "Chris, you see that? That's what a dedicated girlfriend looks like." "You're right, Ms. Sterling," the co-worker, Chris, sighed dramatically. "Unlike my girlfriend, all she cares about is running around with her best guy friend. Sometimes I wonder if she's even my girlfriend at all." Chloe's face burned with embarrassment. "Well, Chris, you'd better be careful," Victoria continued, her gaze flickering towards Chloe. "If your girlfriend doesn't prioritize you, you might not even know it when she runs off with someone else." "Tell me about it." "But whatever. We're breaking up anyway. I was already planning to have that conversation." "Good for you for knowing your worth," Victoria said, her voice a little louder now, as if to make sure someone specific could hear. "There are plenty of great women out there. No need to waste your time on someone who doesn't deserve you." Leo mumbled from his drunken stupor. You're right, Miss Sterling. Makes sense." His words were a knife in Chloe's heart. She propped him up. "Leo, you're drunk. Let's go home." After thanking the others, she helped him to the car. She opened the passenger door, but Leo refused to get in. I don't want to sit in the front." No. Chloe's eyes welled up with tears. Left with no choice, she helped him into the back seat. When she got into the driver's seat, she looked over at the empty passenger seat and froze. Taped to the dashboard was a small, cutesy decal. CO Pilot. Ryan had stuck it there as a joke. She hadn't thought anything of it at the time, but now it felt like a glaring accusation. She finally understood why Leo refused to sit in the front. Tears streamed down her face. She ripped the decal off, crumpled it into a ball, and threw it out the window with all her might. Then she collapsed onto the steering wheel, a wave of despair and heartbreak washing over her. After a moment, she sat up and wiped her eyes. "I'm sorry, Leo. I was wrong. I was so wrong for not caring about your feelings. Is this how you felt all those nights, tossing and turning while you waited for me? Did your heart ache just like this?" "I promise," she whispered, "it will never happen again." She started the car. Back at the apartment, she managed to get him into bed and wiped his face with a warm cloth. Then she lay down behind him and held him close. "Promise me you won't leave me. I'll change. I swear I'll change." In that moment, she finally understood how important Leo was to her. She couldn't lose him. The next day, she woke up early and started cooking in the kitchen. By the time Leo got up, breakfast was on the table. "Go wash up. Breakfast is ready," she said, smiling brightly. Leo just stared at her with a look of intense scrutiny. What's gotten into her? He wondered. In the past, she wouldn't even buy breakfast, let alone make it. His suspicious gaze made her heart ache. When he didn't move, she spoke again. "Leo, I know I was wrong before. I'm sorry. I promise I'll change from now on." "Actually, there's something I need to talk to you about," Leo said, sitting down at the table. "Chloe, let's get married." Chloe blurted out, cutting him off, as if she knew what was coming. "What?" "I said, let's get married. I've realized you're the most important person in my life. I can't imagine a future without you. I was so confused before, but I see clearly now. You're the one I want to spend my life with. So we should." Her phone suddenly rang. "Hello? Chris, what's up?" "Leo, you need to get to the office right now. There's an emergency." "I have to go. There's an urgent issue at work. We can talk when I get back." "I'll drive you. It'll be impossible to get an Uber right now." "Okay." With the work emergency, Leo didn't have time to argue. Chloe grabbed her keys. She rushed to the car and held the passenger door open for him. Leo just stood there for a second, We're going to be late, Chloe urged. He still opened the back door and got in. A profound sense of powerlessness washed over Chloe. Dejected, she closed the passenger door, got in, and sped towards his office. On the way, she kept glancing at him in the rearview mirror, but he was just staring at his phone, typing. From now on, she said, her voice quiet but firm, no one else is sitting in my passenger seat. She watched for his reaction, but it was as if he hadn't heard her, his attention still on his phone. When he finally put away, he asked, "What did you say just now? I didn't hear you. Leo, I know I was wrong. Please, just give me one more chance. Give us one more chance. Please." Chloe was terrified. She was so afraid he was going to say the words break up. She couldn't imagine her life without him. Leo was silent, his lips pressed into a thin line, as if he were fighting an internal battle. He didn't say a word for the rest of the ride, which was torture for Chloe. When they arrived, he jumped out of the car and ran towards the entrance. "Leo," she called out, "from now on, my passenger seat is only for you." He turned back, gave her a small, unreadable smile, and disappeared into the building. After that day, Chloe seemed to become a different person. She went straight home from work every day to cook dinner and wait for Leo. If he had a client dinner, she would go pick him up. She drove him to work in the morning. She was truly trying, putting in the effort to be a good girlfriend. Leo found himself torn. After a long struggle, he decided he should give her one last chance. A chance for their 3 years together. He didn't want to have any regrets. He decided to lay all his cards on the table. He would tell her he was moving to another city for work. If she was willing to go with him, he would let the past go. But if she wasn't, then he could leave without looking back. He was leaving tomorrow. Today happened to be his birthday. He called Chloe and told her he had something very important to discuss, and that she absolutely couldn't miss it. Based on how much she had changed lately, how focused she had been on him, he felt hopeful. Chloe, knowing it was his birthday, had gone to the mall early to pick out the perfect gift. She'd also ordered a custom cake. She was giddy with anticipation for their evening together. She clutched the box containing a custom engraved ring, her heart soaring. Tonight, she was going to propose to him. "You're all set to leave tomorrow. Anything left to do?" Victoria asked over the phone. "Just one last thing, Miss Sterling. But don't worry. No matter how it turns out, it won't affect my travel plans." "Good to hear." Leo went back to the apartment and packed his suitcase. He'd let Chloe's decision determine his own. With that done, he sat at the table, his heart heavy with a mix of hope and anxiety. This would be his last birthday here. At 6 o'clock, he went into the kitchen and started cooking. His last meal in this apartment. He put his heart into it, making all of his specialty dishes. As he placed the last dish on the table, he glanced at the clock. Chloe should have been off work by now. Maybe she's stuck in traffic. He sat at the table and waited. The minutes ticked by. 8 o'clock. 9. 10. He pulled out his phone and called her. "We're sorry. The person you have called is on another line." The call was rejected. He tried again. "We're sorry. The number you have dialed has been turned off." He tried a few more times. Same result. Leo's heart sank. The last flicker of hope was extinguished. The clock struck midnight. He stared at the quiet front door, and a last knot of tension in his heart finally dissolved. He let out a self-deprecating laugh. Closing his eyes, he clasped his hands together and made a wish. "Happy birthday," he whispered to himself, "and happy single life." He ate a bite from every dish on the table, then put down his chopsticks. He opened his laptop, finalized all of his work handover documents, and hit save. He glanced at the time. It was 6 in the morning. Without hesitation, he stood up, went into the bedroom, and grabbed his packed suitcase. He placed the stack of photos they had taken together back on the desk and left a note beside them. At the front door, he paused and looked back one last time at the apartment they had shared for 3 years. It had seen sweetness, arguments, and tears. Then he turned and left without a second glance. Goodbye, Chloe. Goodbye to the last 3 years. Chloe woke up with a start on a hard bench in the hospital. "What time is it?" She fumbled for her phone. "Why is it off?" A massive wave of panic washed over her. She grabbed a passing nurse's arm. "What time is it?" "It's 5:40 a.m. "What's the date?" "October 10th, the nurse replied, looking confused. "The 10th. Her hand trembled as she held down the power button. The moment it turned on, a flood of missed call notifications popped up, all from Leo. She was frantic. "I missed his birthday. How could I have missed his birthday?" He said he had something important to tell me. An overwhelming sense of dread enveloped her. She immediately tried to call him back. The number you have dialed is unavailable or out of the service area. Her heart dropped. She tried again and again. She frantically redialed, but the only response was the cold, robotic voice. She collapsed onto the bench, her eyes vacant. If before she had been certain that Leo would never break up with her, ever since he started to change, that certainty had vanished without a trace. "You're awake. Why don't you sleep a little longer?" Ryan said, walking up to her. She looked at him, her eyes burning with fury. "Did you turn off my phone? I just saw how tired you were. I didn't want you to be disturbed. Do you have any idea how important last night was to me? Why did you turn off my phone?" Chloe shrieked, grabbing his collar. "Chloe, I was just trying to help. Did Leo start a fight with you again? He just can't stand you helping me." "Shut up. Leo is my boyfriend, and he is important to me." She stood up to leave. "Chloe, if you go, what about me? I'm going home now." "Chloe, you can't." "I said I'm going home. Didn't you hear me?" Chloe had lost all patience. She shoved Ryan aside and stumbled towards the parking garage. She got in her car and peeled out of the hospital lot. Ryan punched the wall behind him. Chloe sped through the streets, praying under her breath. As she pulled up to their apartment complex, a black SUV was pulling out. The two vehicles passed each other for a fleeting second. She ran upstairs, carrying the cake box, not even bothering to close her car door. She fumbled with the key, her hands shaking too much to get in the lock. Taking a deep breath to steady herself, she finally managed to open the door. "Leo." Silence. Her heart tightened. "Leo." Still no answer. Her pulse quickened. She flipped on the living room light. The dining table was covered with a feast of carefully prepared dishes. Leo's bowl had remnants of food in it, his chopsticks laid neatly beside it. Across from his spot, a clean set of bowl and chopsticks sat untouched, a silent, mocking testament to her absence. Chloe clutched her chest as tears streamed down her face. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." She put the cake down and ran into the bedroom. All of Leo's things were gone. Then she saw the stack of photos on the desk and the note next to it. It read, "We're done. Let's go our separate ways." Her mind went blank, as if struck by lightning. She dropped the note and frantically redialed his number, praying, No, he wouldn't be so cruel as to just leave me like this." The call connected. "The number you have dialed has been turned off or is out of the service area." She tried again. Same robotic voice. The truth finally hit her. "He blocked my number?" She opened iMessage, typed a message, and hit send. A red exclamation mark appeared next to it. Her phone slipped from her hand and clattered to the floor. She sank down with it, tears splashing on the hardwood. "Why won't you let me explain? Why did you leave?" Chloe wailed, her cries echoing through the empty apartment. A thought struck her, and she jumped up, grabbing her car keys and racing to Leo's office. She stopped an employee on their way in. "Can you please get Leo Miller for me? Tell him his girlfriend is here." Manager Miller already left headquarters. He's been transferred to the branch office. "You're his girlfriend. How could you not know that? What did you say? When did this happen?" Chloe's eyes widened in disbelief. His flight to Austin was this morning. Getting the flight information, Chloe sped towards the airport. "I can still make it. I have to make it," she told herself, trying to stay calm. Just as she pulled into the airport parking garage and opened her door, a passenger jet roared overhead, ascending into the sky. Her hand froze on the car door. She squeezed her fist tight. "He's really gone. How did it come to this?" She collapsed back in her seat and sobbed, pounding the steering wheel in frustration. "Why did I go help Ryan? Why didn't I say no? Why did I fall asleep? Why didn't T.I. just go home? Why did I miss his birthday?" Yesterday, after work, she had happily picked up his gift and the cake. She was humming to herself, driving home, excited for their evening. Then Ryan had called, his voice choked with sobs. "Chloe, my mom. She's not going to make it." Her hand tightened on the phone. Friendship on one side, love on the other. It was an impossible choice. If she didn't go and something happened to his mom, would he hate her forever? Would she feel guilty for the rest of her life? But if she went, she would miss Leo's birthday, and he had said it was important. She glanced at the time. 6:40 p.m. I should have enough time. I could still make it back to celebrate with him. With that thought, she hit the brakes. After a moment of hesitation, She made a U-turn and headed for the hospital. She didn't know it then, but that single turn would cause her to lose the most important person in her life, a loss that would become an obsession that haunted her for years. At the hospital, she helped Ryan push his mother to dialysis, ran to different departments to get paperwork, a whirlwind of chaotic activity. When things finally settled down, she checked the time, 9 p.m. Okay, still okay. She said goodbye to Ryan, but he handed her a bottle of water and told her to sit and rest for a minute before she left. She didn't think anything of it. She took the water and drank it down thirstily. Soon after, her eyelids felt heavy, and she fell asleep on the bench in the hospital waiting room. Thinking about it now, she was filled with regret. She sat on the sofa in their empty apartment, staring blankly at the used dishes on the table. She got up, sat in her empty spot, and ate every last bite of the cold food. Then she took out the cake, lit the candles, and clasped her hands together. Happy birthday, Leo. And I'm so sorry. She started stuffing cake in her mouth, tears mixing with the frosting, though she couldn't taste a thing. She took out the custom rings she had bought, clutching them tightly in her hand, and finally collapsed onto the table, sobbing, her cries filling the silent room. She sat on the sofa all night, trying to understand why he left, though she already knew the reason. She just couldn't face it. The next day, she went to a store, bought a burner phone, and dialed Leo's number. Hello. Tears of relief streamed down her face. Leo, it's me. What do you want? Why did you leave? Why didn't you give me a chance to explain? There's no point. What do you mean there's no point? I know I missed your birthday, and it's my fault, but Ryan's mom was dying, and he needed my help. I was coming back to celebrate with you, but I accidentally fell asleep at the hospital. Ryan turned off my phone. Chloe was sobbing, unable to form a coherent sentence. There was silence on the other end. Hello, Leo, are you there? She asked, her voice trembling. It doesn't matter anymore, Chloe. We're really over. Why? There is no why. I'm just tired. I'm worn out. I don't have any love left to give. The moment I left, our story was over. Don't call me again. He hung up. No, Leo. Beep, beep, beep. She tried calling back, but his phone was off. She tried with her own phone, but it was clear he had set his phone to reject unknown numbers. Chloe returned to the empty apartment, threw herself on the bed, and cried into the pillow. She had never felt so powerless, so helpless, so full of regret and pain. She started packing, planning to go to Austin, but then she got a call from Ryan. His mother had passed away. She attended the funeral, then got swamped with a crisis at work. By the time she was free, a week had passed. She requested a leave of absence and immediately booked a flight to Austin. She had to get him back. She couldn't give up. After landing, she checked into a hotel and immediately started looking for Leo's new company. A day later, she found it, but was told he was working from home for a few days. After some careful inquiries, she finally got his address and rushed over. Knock, knock, knock. She knocked on the door, her heart pounding with anxiety. The door opened. Who is it? Leo's eyes widened when he saw her. What are you doing here? Chloe looked gaunt and exhausted, a shadow of her former self. Leo, why did you leave without a word? Come in first, he said, stepping aside. Why did you leave? She asked again once inside. There's no reason. I just don't love you anymore. You don't love me. Is it because of Ryan? I swear, nothing ever happened between us. It doesn't matter. Leo, if you don't like me being close to him, I promise I'll never see him again. She shakily pulled out her phone and deleted Ryan's contact information, his number, everything. Leo, look. Leo frowned at her. So you understood all along, and you knew exactly what to do. I'm sorry. I was wrong before. I didn't consider your feelings. I didn't understand boundaries. But you did it anyway, didn't you? No, Leo, it's not like that. Listen to me. I used to think you were too controlling, that I needed more space. Well, I'm giving you space now, aren't I? Isn't this exactly what you wanted? No, that's not it. Chloe shook her head desperately, tears streaming down her face. She had no defense against his words. She took a deep breath to compose herself. Leo, I know I hurt you in this relationship. I've had a lot of time to think. We were a couple, and I should have given you the security you needed. It was my fault for not considering your feelings. So you did understand everything. I'll change. I'll change everything. Just give me one more chance. Your birthday. I really didn't mean for that to happen. Look, this is your birthday present. It was a tie. It would have looked perfect on him. And this, Chloe said, taking out the small box with the custom rings. I was going to propose to you on your birthday. It's my fault. I ruined everything. It's too late, Chloe. It's too late for any of this. Chloe froze, her voice a choked whisper. What? Because you're out of chances. How can I be out of chances? As long as you're willing, we can still have a chance, right? Leo sighed deeply. That night was your last chance. I was ready to give up on our relationship, but your changes gave me hope again. So I decided to give you one last chance. If you had been willing to leave with me, I would have forgiven everything. I would have given you our 3 years together, another shot. But you stood me up, Chloe. You're out of chances. Chloe stumbled backward, clutching her chest. The ring box fell from her hand, and the rings scattered across the floor. What did you say? You packed the photos because you wanted to take me with you. Leo, I'm willing. I'm so willing. I'll quit my job right now. She frantically pulled out her phone. It's too late, Chloe. On the night you didn't show up, the last bit of love I had for you died. You should go. I hope we can end this with some dignity. No, it can't be like this. This isn't how it's supposed to end, she sobbed, collapsing to the floor. Watching her cry, Leo felt nothing. Chloe, a miss is a miss. Maybe this was just fate. I hope we can both find our own happiness. But how can I be happy without you? Is there really no chance for us at all? Leo shook his head. Chloe closed her eyes, the tears finally stopping. She picked up the rings from the floor. She slipped the woman's ring onto her own finger. Then she picked up the man's ring, got down on one knee, and held it up to him. Leo Miller, will you marry me? Will you let me be your wife? Leo just stood there, his face completely devoid of emotion. No. Chloe swayed, then slowly lowered her hands, letting them fall limply to her sides. So we really have no chance at all. Chloe let out a bitter laugh. I understand. It was my fault. I'm the one who pushed you away. I deserve this. She stood up and shakily walked to the door. She turned to look at him one last time, her eyes filled with regret and longing. I'm not giving up. She closed her eyes, turned, and walked out. Leo watched her go. It's really over, Chloe. He shut the door and went back to his computer. Chloe wandered the unfamiliar streets, aimlessly, as if she had lost all sense of direction. She got a call from her company. There was an urgent project, and she needed to return immediately. She looked back at Leo's apartment building. Leo, I won't give up this easily. You were the one who always gave without asking for anything in return. Now it's my turn. You just wait for me. At that moment, Leo's phone rang. Hello, Miss Sterling, what's up? Mr. Miller, would you do me the honor of having dinner with me? An invitation from you, Miss Sterling? I'd be delighted. Leo knew that Victoria was interested in him, but after such a painful breakup, he wasn't ready to jump into a new relationship. It wouldn't be fair to her. Plus, he had learned since arriving at the branch office that she was the daughter of the company's founder. They were in completely different worlds. As time went on, Victoria's intentions became more obvious, and Leo continued to gently sidestep her advances. That all changed when he got sick and had to be hospitalized. Victoria was by his side day and night, taking care of him tirelessly. She handled his paperwork, picked up his prescriptions, brought him food and water. For a full week, she barely left his side. Leo was finally moved by her dedication and accepted her. He felt he had no reason to refuse a woman of her status who would care for him with such humility and detail. They started dating. As they spent more time together, he discovered that despite her wealthy background, Victoria had none of the arrogance of a rich heiress. She was thoughtful, attentive to his emotions, and gave him a sense of security and trust he had never known. Gradually, his heart began to stir, and their relationship deepened. When Chloe found out they were together, it felt like she had been struck by lightning. She cried every day, filled with regret, and drank herself into a stupor to escape the reality of her loss. She later found out the truth. Ryan had been manipulating her all along. He had other family who could have helped. He had only called her to drive a wedge between her and Leo, and he had succeeded. When Chloe learned this, she slapped him hard across the face, screamed at him, and cut off all contact. Then she went home and slapped herself. Chloe, you are such an idiot. Even the events of Leo's birthday had been a setup. Ryan knew how important that night was to her, so he exploited her kindness, putting a sleeping pill in the water he gave her. It caused her to miss her last chance and pushed Leo away for good. When Chloe heard that her company was opening a new branch in Austin, she begged her boss every day, relentlessly, until she finally secured a transfer. She couldn't give up. As long as Leo wasn't married, she still had a chance. She had to try one last time. By a strange twist of fate, her company's new office was located just a few blocks from Leo's. Chloe was overjoyed, seeing it as a sign from heaven. One day, while looking for an apartment near Leo's office, she saw Victoria arguing with another man. She took out her phone, crept closer, and started recording. "Victoria Sterling, what do you think Leo will do when he finds out you're two-timing him? Do you think he'll break up with you?" the man sneered. A small smile played on Chloe's lips. "Can you please stop bothering me? You know I have a boyfriend." "Tori, come on. We've known each other since we were kids. It doesn't have to be like this. If we're friends, then tell me this. What was the meaning of all that ambiguous stuff you said in front of my boyfriend the other day? Were you trying to make him misunderstand?" "I didn't mean anything by it. We used to hang out all the time. Yes, we hung out when we were kids. But as adults, we've never been physical, have we? We've never had a romantic relationship, have we? I'm warning you, I don't want him to be unhappy because of you." "It was a misunderstanding, Tori. I wasn't trying to cause trouble. There are no misunderstandings here. I know exactly what you're thinking. As of today, our childhood friendship is over. Don't show your face in front of me again." "But my grandfather is sick. You know his dying wish is for you to be his granddaughter-in-law. Can't you just pretend to be my girlfriend to grant him his last wish?" "I'm sorry, but I can't help you. I won't risk my boyfriend misunderstanding. You're really not going to do this for me? I have no obligation to help you with something like that. If you need me to help connect your grandfather with medical specialists, I would do it in a heartbeat. Now, Julian, you can leave." The man could only turn away in frustration. "And another thing," Victoria added, "don't ever say ambiguous things in front of my boyfriend again. If you make him misunderstand, don't blame me for forgetting our childhood friendship." "I get it," the man said resentfully and left. Victoria immediately took out her phone and called the front desk. From now on, Julian Young is not to be allowed into the building. Victoria's attitude was firm, decisive, and left no room for doubt. Chloe stopped recording. Victoria's actions had been a profound lesson for her. She let out a bitter laugh. It was her own indecisiveness that had repeatedly given Ryan false hope and ultimately led to her losing the most important person in her life. She'd had so many chances to fix her relationship, but she did nothing. In fact, she had only pushed him further away. If only she had been like Victoria and decisively cut ties with Ryan from the beginning. "But it's too late for all that now," she whispered. "Love isn't just one person's effort. It takes two people working together to protect it. I just understood that too late." From then on, she used every excuse she could to get close to Leo. When he found out her company had also moved to Austin, he was surprised. Chloe sent him flowers and lunch every day, trying everything she could to mend their relationship, but Leo's resolve never wavered. All Chloe could do was watch Leo and Victoria from afar. They went out to dinner, saw movies, went shopping, walked in the park, worked together. They did everything couples do. One day it was raining. They were sharing an umbrella. Leo would tilt it towards Victoria, and she would push it back towards him, and they both ended up getting soaked. But neither of them was angry. They just looked at each other, burst out laughing, and held each other in a tight embrace. They kissed in the rain. Chloe stood across the street, holding her own umbrella, watching them. In that moment, she knew she had truly lost. There were no more chances. Thunder cracked overhead, and the rain came down in sheets, but it couldn't separate the two lovers, lost in their own world. Less than a year later, they were engaged, and 6 months after that, they had a grand wedding. Chloe could only watch from a distance, silent tears streaming down her face. "Leo, it's been 2 years. Seeing you this happy. Shouldn't I be able to let go? Then why does my heart still hurt so much? It's a twisting, stabbing pain. Is it regret? Resentment? Or is this my punishment from fate?" After their wedding, Chloe left Austin. The moment the plane took off, she finally felt a sense of release. "Leo, I wish you a lifetime of happiness. If there's a next life, I promise I will cherish you." Bonus chapter. Rebirth. As the plane climbed high above the city, Chloe looked back on her time with Leo. Maybe this will be my obsession for the rest of my life. Something I'll carry with me until the day I die. Warning. Warning. The aircraft is experiencing engine failure. Please fasten your seatbelts, put on your oxygen masks, and remain calm. Please follow the instructions of the flight crew. The announcement repeated over the speakers. Some passengers began to cry. Others frantically recorded messages on their phones. The cabin was filled with a heavy, oppressive atmosphere. Only Chloe felt perfectly calm. Due to irreparable engine failure, the aircraft will be making an emergency landing. All passengers, please prepare for impact. The plane began to plummet. The cabin descended into chaos. If there is a next life, Leo, I promise I will cherish our love. I will never let go of your hand. News report. Flight 734 from Austin to Chicago experienced catastrophic engine failure mid-flight. The aircraft has crashed. There were no survivors. Watching the news, Leo felt a strange, sharp pain in his chest, as if something was being ripped away from him. Chloe's eyes shot open. Didn't I die? Where am I? She sat up, looking at the familiar surroundings. The loud, chaotic noise was so familiar. This is Ryan's birthday party. Could it be? She pulled out her phone and looked at the date. I've been reborn. I'm back 2 years in the past. It's the day of Ryan's birthday. This is the day everything started to fall apart between me and Leo. She checked the time. Thank God, there's still time. In about 5 minutes, Leo would arrive to pick her up, and he would see her and Ryan playing that stupid game, passing a piece of paper from mouth to mouth. They would have a huge fight on the way home, and she would storm out. That was the day Leo started to change. It's not too late. I can fix everything. Just then, someone suggested they play that very game. Chloe knew now that Ryan had timed it perfectly, wanting Leo to see them. This time, his plan was going to fail. As people started cheering them on, she glanced towards the door and saw Leo's shadow outside. In her past life, he had seen the whole thing through the small window in the karaoke room door. Ryan had chosen the room specifically for that reason. As the others urged her on, Chloe stood up. I can't play this kind of game. I have a boyfriend, and I don't want him to get the wrong idea. Her voice was loud, making sure the person outside could hear. Ryan scoffed. You're just afraid of what Leo will think, right? He's so petty and controlling. Are you really going to choose your boyfriend over your friends? Don't you dare talk about Leo like that. He's my boyfriend, the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. We're just friends. You have no right to interfere in my relationship. Chloe, that's not fair, Ryan said with a smirk. We've been through everything together. We've even slept in the same bed. Chloe paused, stunned. In her past life, how had she never realized how disgusting Ryan was? What are you talking about? That was when we were toddlers. Are you seriously bringing that up now? I'm warning you, stop saying things like that to cause trouble, or our friendship is over. She angrily grabbed her purse and stormed out of the room. Her heart was pounding with excitement. She threw open the door and saw Leo standing right there. Babe, what are you doing here? What did you just call me? Babe, you are my babe, aren't you? We're going to get married someday, so I might as well start practicing. Well, are you guys done? Should I? Nope. Someone else's birthday party isn't as important as my boyfriend. Really? Chloe, do you really mean that? Seeing the brilliant smile on Leo's face, Chloe felt a wave of emotion. It was the same smile she had only seen in her past life when he was with Victoria. Her eyes turned red. Leo's face fell. What's wrong? Are you unhappy that I came to get you? No, not all. I'm just so happy, she said, her voice thick with emotion. She threw herself into his arms and held him tight. Babe, I'm so sorry. It must have been so hard being with me. I promise I'll change. Please, just don't ever leave me, okay? The tears she had been holding back finally broke free. Leo sensed something was wrong and gently pushed her back. What's going on with you? You seem a little. I'm fine. I just had an epiphany. Babe, I promise from now on, I'll always be by your side. Really, I swear. If I break this promise, may I be struck by lightning. MMPH. Leo covered her mouth with his. Okay. I believe you. Let's go home then. As they walked to the car, Ryan followed them. I'll just come with you guys. Chloe, you can give me a ride. You don't mind, do you, Leo? Leo frowned, the happiness on his face instantly vanishing. Ryan smirked triumphantly and opened the passenger door, but Chloe stopped him. "If you're riding with us, you sit in the back. The front seat is for my boyfriend only. But you know I get carsick. Take it or leave it. If you don't like it, call an Uber. Only my boyfriend sits in my passenger seat." She pushed Ryan's hand away and pulled Leo into the front seat. The smile finally returned to Leo's face. Ryan, his face dark with anger, got into the back. On the way, Ryan tried to start a conversation, but Chloe cut him off every time, focusing all her attention on Leo, asking him about his day at work. Ryan was completely ignored. When they reached the street, Chloe pulled over. "You can walk from here. My boyfriend is tired from work. He needs to go home and rest." Ryan got out, slamming the door hard behind him. Back at home, after they had showered and were lying in bed, Chloe's hands started wandering over Leo's body. "Babe, do you want to?" Hearing this, Leo rolled on top of her. After a night of passion, Chloe lay in his arms. After 3 long years, she finally had him back in her grasp. From then on, she drove him to work and picked him up. They went grocery shopping, cooked dinner, went to the movies, and walked to the park together. She started attending his company parties, and when he introduced her to his colleagues, she would greet them warmly and make conversation. Everyone at his work envied him for having such a wonderful girlfriend, and seeing the pride on Leo's face made Chloe genuinely happy. She brought him to her own work gatherings, and he was always charming and supportive. Her colleagues all told her how lucky she was to have found such a great guy. She supported him in his work, offering suggestions that helped him immensely. Whenever Ryan called, her answer was always the same. "I can't. I have to be with my boyfriend." She would always add for Leo to hear, "No one is more important than my boyfriend." Life was blissful until Victoria Sterling appeared. One evening, Victoria gave Leo a ride home. Chloe knew Victoria was a formidable rival. She was from a wealthy family, beautiful, intelligent, and decisive. Chloe knew she had to be on her A game. She went to the door with a smile. "Babe, you're home." "Chloe, this is my company's general manager, Ms. Sterling." "Ms. Sterling, hello. Thank you so much for giving my boyfriend a ride home. Would you like to come in for a bit?" Chloe was polite and gracious. To her surprise, Victoria didn't back down. "Since you've invited me so warmly, Ms. Davis, I'd be happy to come in for a moment." "Ms. Sterling, you don't have to." Leo started. Chloe cut him off. "It would be our honor to have you as a guest, Ms. Sterling." "Well, I hope I'm not imposing." "Not at all. Please come in." Chloe's every expression and gesture was poised and confident, and she could see that Victoria was impressed. Inside, she offered Victoria tea and fruit and even invited her to stay for dinner. Victoria accepted. Chloe busied herself in the kitchen. When Leo tried to help, she shooed him out, telling him to entertain their guest. "Mr. Miller, is your girlfriend always like this?" Victoria asked. "Yeah, Chloe's a great person. You're very lucky to have found such a wonderful girlfriend." "I know. Sometimes I wonder what good deeds I did in a past life to deserve her." Hearing this from the kitchen, Chloe's heart swelled with joy. "Dinner's ready. I hope you don't mind, Miss Sterling. It's just some simple home-cooked food." "Not at all. I'm not a picky eater." "Wow, Ms. Davis, you're an amazing cook." "Really? I thought only my Leo liked my cooking." "I'm glad you enjoy it too, Miss Sterling." "Chloe, you shouldn't sell yourself short. Your food is delicious. As long as you like it, that's all that matters." By the end of the meal, Chloe could see the look of defeat in Victoria's eyes. After Victoria left, Leo wrapped his arms around her. "Honey, why are you so perfect?" "Because you're my husband." "Hey, speaking of which, should we go get married?" "Really? Chloe, are you serious? You want to get married?" They picked a date and went to the courthouse. The moment the clerk handed them their marriage certificate, Chloe's eyes filled with tears. "This time, happiness is finally mine." "Honey, what did you say?" "I said, we have to be happy forever." "Don't worry, honey. I promise I'll spend my life making you happy." They went to a restaurant to celebrate and didn't leave until evening. They were walking hand in hand when a sudden thunderstorm broke out. They only had one umbrella. Leo tilted it towards her, and she pushed it back towards him, and they both got soaked. Chloe snatched the umbrella from his hand, threw it to the ground, and looked into his eyes. They burst out laughing, their eyes full of love. They embraced and kissed in the rain, forgetting everything else in the world. Not far away, A woman holding an umbrella watched them for a moment. Then she smiled softly and walked away. They had a wedding, and their life together was full of happiness. Chloe stood on the porch, watching Leo playing with their child in the garden. A smile spread across her face. This time, it's my turn to be happy. The plane hit the ground. A massive explosion bloomed like a fiery flower. This was just her final fantasy. The end.